Hello everybody and welcome to week number 7 for music exploration or music appreciation or just plain old general music. You'll notice this week we have an introduction of a new symbol which looks like this, and what these are called are eighth notes. Eighth notes we've had before in a previous week. If we look back on, let's say, week 3, and I think that could be a good one. We'll go ahead and back and look at that really quick. Yes, we did have eighth notes. If you take a look at this, on week 3, here is at 1/8 note. It's worth half a beat. But when you get two of them together, you usually see them barred together up on top, making 2 half beats, or half plus half being 1. And that's what they look like right here. All right. Your task today is still to write 4 measures and use these symbols. This, the quarter note like you've had before, and the 2 eighth notes, which are half a beat apiece, and actually they are 1 beat by them, when you have this group of 2, and then the rest. And then to just try to make things just a little bit easier as you're getting introduced to this new symbol here, just on these 3 pitches here, C, D, and E. And the C being the C below the treble clef staff with a line through it, D, the note that hangs below the bottom line of the staff, and E, which is the bottom line of the staff, in 4/4 time. All right? And just to show you really quick how something like that would look, I already have this week number 7 all set to go, and using Finale Notepad, if I were to use this quarter note here on C, well, let's be a little crazy and let's start on the note E. Even though it says C, D, and E, we can start on E because we're just making this up as we go. And then let's try this. We have these symbols here. Remember I said 2 of these make it, and you'll notice on Finale Notepad it does it for you. See how it bars it together up on top? So here's 2 beats, and then let's try one of these on the note E. Well, you know what? Maybe we'll just make it at the note D. And a rest. All right. And just to show another one, let's try something different. Let's try putting one of these eighth notes on one note and putting one of the other eighth notes on another note. Put in a quarter note on E, and then another E. All right, and you can see how this is a little bit different from that, but they are still following the rules that was set out for this week. C, D, and E. I'm using a C here and E here, and 2 E's here, and I'm using a D here, and the rests. All right, and your task is to make sure you make 4 of these. Just create 4 different ones every week, or excuse me, every day. And you don't have to only just make 1 set of 2 of these. You can use more eighth notes than that. I just use this as an example. And remember, make sure you put the date underneath where you are starting. So say that you're starting tomorrow. It would be the 22nd. So you could put 2, 2, 2, and then 10. And then after you get your 4 done, then you can put another 2. One thing I do want to caution you, though, is that if you write 4 measures up here, and then you try to put 4 measures down here on the bass clef, the C, D, and E are in different places down here. So you have to make sure you put them correctly, or just leave these blank and do them all in the treble clef. When we get into the next quarter, and if you look at the beginning of the weeks, I'm sorry, this over here, when you get into that second quarter, which is like the second 9 weeks, we'll be talking a little bit more about using the grand staff, the entire thing. Right now we're just kind of getting you used to see it. All right, so now go back to this, and this is basically how it should look. Just adding a couple more measures, and then every day you add 4. Try to stay up in the treble clef, or if you do go into the bass clef, you have to find where C, D, and E are, but I prefer you stay up on the treble clef. And if it looks like you need to have more, because it only gives you 4, go ahead and put it in the page. It's okay. All right, this will continue to the next page if you need to. All right, so that being said, I'm going to go ahead and close this up and go back to week number 7 and just explain a little something about how this sounds in relation to this. All right, whatever speed that we have for the beat. In other words, however fast the beat's going to be in whatever song we create or whatever song that we hear, usually we represent it with this note. All right, and that's one beat. It's the one beat note. When you have 4/4 time, the bottom 4 means that this note gets one beat. Now when you cut the beat in half, you have 2 sounds in the time of one beat, so they're going to go twice as fast. So to help me on this, I'm going to go ahead and go to a place that I've found online called Metronome Online, and the address is www.metronomeonline.com. Once you get there, it gives clicks, and this is a good thing to use when you're practicing. I have it set, at least I thought I did. I have it set at 60, and you can hear how it's clicking. I'm going to go ahead and put the mic to it real fast. And those clicks represent a beat, all right? And they would represent the quarter note. Now, if the quarter note is cut in half, the 2 notes that come from it are eighth notes. They go twice as fast. So you would have to try to find beats that are twice as fast as this. Now what I have this on at is 60, which is 1 beat per second. Or, this is how seconds go as they go by. If we double that, twice as fast, it makes it 120. So if I move over here and click on 120, you'll hear twice as fast. Here we go. Again, back at 1 beat per second. Okay, so it's a very useful place online. It gives you basically just beats to show you where the pulse is. If you're playing through something, singing through something, performing anything, it's always good to practice with a metronome to try to keep you right on time with where the beat is, because when you're reading rhythm, sometimes it gets to be a little tricky. All right, now let me go ahead and shut this off for right now. And, whoops, let's go back to this really quick. Another way to look at this too would be thinking of this as a 1-syllable word, these as a 2-syllable word, and this as a shush. So if I were to use the months of the year, I would say this could be May and this could be in April. So I would say May, April, May, shh, shh, April, May, May. All right, that's just another way of looking at it. 2-syllable word as opposed to a 1-syllable word. That tends to help out quite a bit when you're trying to figure out how they're supposed to go. The other way you can do it is actually play through it and you listen to actually how the piece sounds, and it will automatically on Finale Notepad make the notes go twice as fast. So let me go ahead and put the microphone down so you can hear how this sounds. All right. I guess sometimes I forget that I have to keep the mic away from that. So let me see if I can turn the volume up just a tiny, tiny bit. Well, so anyway, I guess I'm getting a little bit too much feedback on this. Well, anyway, give this a try. And if you have questions on this, I will find some places that you can go to help you to hear how these things sound in relation to each other. The eighth notes in relation to the quarter notes, because they do take a little bit of getting used to. And I might post up a little exercise to try clapping through on your own. The musictheory.org or .net online usually has some good exercises as well. So anyway, I think that will be it for this week. Take a look here. There are some other things you can work on to help you get to know. This site here, the musictechteacher.com, is a really good site. It might have some things for eighth notes there as well. Sometimes you might see the word called subdivision, and that has to do with going from beat and then cutting the beat in half and then cutting those half beats in half and so on. All right. And then, of course, here is the new song to work on if you want to practice working with the notes for the week. And I think we're all good to go. All right. Here's a nice worksheet that helps you work on treble clefs. And you probably know the songs Bingo and Old MacDonald. They're really fun little worksheets, and they are basically is there the music for those songs, and you can learn how to play them on a keyboard or maybe even a flute or violin or whatever. But you can go ahead and download these and print them out. And as always, if you have any questions, go ahead and click here, and you can send it to my regular email address at my brick and mortar school. Call me at my brick and mortar school at this number, or send me an email through IQ Academy. All right, and I hope you have a very, very productive week, and we'll talk to you at the next Illuminate session.